Hey friends, Worm here today to talk about the fact that Bungie has finally listened to us. Now, I know I have been a tad bit dramatic as of late in regards to certain things in relation to Destiny, but alas, Bungie has come through and they have fixed a complaint that many players have had over the past few weeks, which is, of course, difficulty. Now, let me switch over here to this here, and we see Destiny 2 hotfix 7.007 gameplay and investment stuff right here, blah blah blah. Trials of Osiris, there's stuff right there. Neo Moon of Free Roam, Root of Nightmares, a couple things like that. But the thing I want to point out here is this right here. Okay, difficulty. Combatant health scaling for 2 and 3 player fire team reduced in the Season 20 Legendary Exotic Mission. That's huge. But then the big one here: reduced enemy health in Legend and Master tier Nightfalls, Battlegrounds, Lost Sectors, Offensive Hunts, and Legendary/Master campaign missions. Now, this is a huge deal because all of these is basically anything that has Legend or Master tier anything. Okay, so they just said anything that is Legend or Master tier gets that convenience little I guess nerf to enemy health. Now, why do I say this is a big deal? Well, it's simple. The players have been complaining about this for literal, I guess at this point, months now. About a month, I should say. They've been complaining about it for weeks. The game was incredibly difficult. And this goes from a standpoint of, obviously, new players have difficulty with the game, but even, veteran players were like, holy crap, this is a lot. This is getting excessive. And one of the reasons we talked about in our previous video in regards to difficulty was, of course, because the enemies have so much health. It takes, like a full magazine from a primary weapon to kill them, which is unreal. And so Bungie has actually nerfed this. And they actually, in their TWAB over here, let me find it real quick. I'll pull it up so y'all can see it too. They talked about... there's some of that stuff. Changes to certain weapons. Changes. Hold on, let me find it here. Well, at any rate, they've changed. They've changed the general difficulty here. Here we go. They reduced the enemy HP scaler in all non-raid/dungeon Legend Master activities by 10%. Okay, so the scaler, and this is what we were talking about in the last, the last video where we talked about difficulty. The scaler is part of the problem because the scaler, it feels like a flat, almost like a flat enemy health increase across the board, but as you scaled in difficulty, the enemy's health scaled in like a ton. It scaled absolutely immensely, and it felt really bad. If you got into even Legend Nightfalls got to a point where they were just ridiculously hard, because not because of any changes that have been made to gameplay or anything, but because the enemy health is incredible. It's taking so much more ammo to kill enemies. Even the smallest red bar, even, dregs and goblins, stuff like that. I'm thinking of the Nightfall from this week. But even those enemies were getting a lot to kill, and you couldn't kill them, if you suspended enemies, you would have to use special or heavy weapon to kill them. And now Bungie has reduced it by 10%, okay? And 10% doesn't sound like a whole lot, but if a boss has, 1,000 health, for example, reducing it to 900 is a lot. If it goes even further up, if a mini boss or something has, I don't know, like 10,000 health points, and they drop it down to 9,000, that's a lot. Like, that's saving players a lot of ammo for primaries. They're not going to have to reload as much while they're trying to kill. They can use more abilities on them and stuff like that. So great job, Bungie, for listening to the players. Also mentioned right here is they reduced the co-op enemy HP scaler in the Legendary Avalon by 33% in a full fire team. This was another major deal. Of course, this season, Bungie was trying to make it so that players who were playing solo didn't have as difficult as a time as players in a fire team. And of course, this isn't anything new. They've done this before. They did this in the Legendary Witch Queen campaign. They did it in Legendary Lightfall campaign, but now they did it in Avalon. But if you played Avalon as solo or as a team, you know how intense it got, because it is nonstop spawning enemies. tons and tons of them too. Not like, you know, not a bunch of thrall just spawning and cut them down. Like we're talking big old minotaurs with their shields, orange bars, stuff like that. So they have reduced the enemy HP scaler in that, which is going to be great because I think a lot more people are going to get into Avalon. Because that was another thing in the forums that we saw a lot of people complaining about, was the Avalon mission was so incredibly difficult because of the enemy's health in there. And the amount of enemies, but I think mainly it was the enemy health. Like I think the amount of enemies was fine, because if you had a really potent build, of course you could cut through them very, very easily. But of course, when they have higher health, it's a lot more difficult to do so. So I think that, you know, Bungie made a good change there. Some other ease of use things that changed, you know, to, I guess, fit a more casual player's, you know, play style pace, I guess, play pace, is of course fixing Guardian ranks to even further reduce certain, you know, milestones. For example, to get rank 7, you used to need 460, now you only need 200, right? Which is of course a nice little change. So I think a lot of players are going to be able to hit those higher ranks of the Guardian ranks easier. They also reduce Hawthorne's weekly challenge commendations from 20 down to 5, which means you do 2 strikes or 3 strikes actually, or maybe 1 Crucible game. Actually, sorry, no, not 1 Crucible game, never mind. But you know, 3 strikes and you've got it, which is again, that's a really, really nice thing here. I'm not going to go over the entire you know, list of changes that we're going to be seeing in the future here. This is primarily just a video kind of trying to talk about the difficulty and stuff like that. But they did see some PvE primary weapon balance changes, and I'm not sure, it doesn't specifically say if it came this week or if it comes next season, but they are increasing the damage of certain weapons against PvE enemies, which is a fantastic change as well, because auto rifles getting a 25% damage increase, pulse rifles, hand cannon, sidearms getting a 20%, and scout rifles getting a 10% increase in damage against enemies. That is something I think a lot of people have been waiting for, and again, that will help with the difficulty. You know, not only reducing the amount of health that enemies have, but they're now increasing the damage that certain weapons do, and I think that is a big deal. But yeah, other notable changes: nerfs to submachine guns, a buff to fusion rifles, a buff to trace rifles, and a buff to sniper rifles are coming. I'm not going to go over all of this stuff that's in the TWAB. You can go read the TWAB or go watch an Astrocross video or something like that. But yeah, I just want to make this video talking about Bungie. They finally listened to the player base. They've reduced the difficulty, which is good. I think it's going to make the game much more accessible to a lot of players, which at the end of the day is a good thing for Destiny. You know, I know if you're one of those people out there that, you know, like to say, oh, Destiny hard isn't even that bad, you're just scrubs. Like, remember, Destiny thrives on casual players. Like, that is what keeps it afloat, is the casual player base. And Bungie, you know, catering to the casual player and reducing the difficulty is a good thing for Destiny. And hell, if you're a legendary player that plays this game 24/7, you will not see as much of an issue. In fact, you're going to see a lot easier content coming your way. But yeah, that's going to kind of wrap it up. Pardon me, for this video. Bungie, thank you for listening to the player base. Thank you for reducing the difficulty on behalf of myself and all other casual players. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the nerfs to, I guess the nerf to enemy health pools. Like, do you think that it is a good thing? I don't see how you could possibly not think it's a good thing, but I want to know you guys' thoughts on it. Do you think it's enough? Do you think it's not enough? Because I know a lot of people probably are like, oh, 10% is not much. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Of course, if you want to see more daily Destiny discussions, subscribe to the channel. We make a video talking about random stuff every single day in Destiny. And hey, like this video if you enjoyed it. But guys, that's it for me, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye for now.